Thank you very much, Simon. Good evening, everybody. Delighted to be here. Delighted to see you all. I have actually been to a couple of these seminars before, so there are some faces that I recognise. Who am I? I'm Pippa Bass. I work in the Cabinet Office. I work in the Efficiency and Reform Group, part of the Cabinet Office. My minister is Francis Maud. And the other minister, junior minister in the Cabinet Office, who has a strong interest in what we'll be talking about today, is Nick Hurd, the Minister for Civil Society. So if that places you, or places me in the melee of Whitehall, High Street Whitehall, that's kind of where I sit. I'm not here alone today. I didn't think that I dared come in front of you guys alone. And dotted around the room are friends and colleagues from either my team in the Cabinet Office, members of the first pilot cohort, members of the second pilot cohort of the Commissioning Academy, or members of the Operations Board. This evening, it's kind of the end of a long day, so what I'm going to do is a little bit of talking, a few minutes of talking to give you a backdrop behind why we have a Commissioning Academy, what it is. So first of all, why a Commissioning Academy? You may well have heard, certainly Francis Maud, speaking a lot about the fact that the world is changing, resources diminishing, going down, demand going up. In your sectors, I'm sure that that is a kind of almost a given now, and you don't kind of need me to say any more about it. But the issue is one of, with all of that, are we just going to salami slice what we have been doing to shave off costs around the edges, or are we actually now at a stage where a step change is needed in how we do things? And the scale of the reductions are such that really salami slicing isn't going to work. We are now looking at a step change. So government really is faced with having to design different ways of delivering public services, and we've also got to think more about joining up the silos of our sectors that we work in, whether it's health, whether it's justice, whether it's work. Unless we can start joining up across those sectors, we cannot possibly hope to achieve the outcomes that our ministers and our political leaders, and indeed what's right for society, the outcomes that we need to deliver, could not possibly be done in this backdrop of reducing resources. So this concept of a commissioner, how many of you, as a matter of interest, have commissioner or commissioning in your job title? Not very many. I bet all of you have an aspect of commissioning. You are involved. You don't have to be called a commissioner. So I'm not talking to just those few who put your hands up. I'm talking to all of you, using the term quite generically, a commissioner. The issue is one of actually driving out confidence, know-how, ability to sort of drive out change, make that step change, ask the right questions, bring teams together, and effectively play much more of a facilitative role to try to achieve the outcomes that we want to take forward. So the Commissioning Academy is a programme aimed at that sort of mindset, that changing the hearts and minds of people who are involved in commissioning across the public sector. And it's not that the world of public services is disastrous. We've never been able to handle offenders or deal with children in care or whatever. Of course we have. We have got some brilliant services out there. Most of our services at their core are quite brilliant. But this step change and being able to move to embrace either more individuals or to achieve outcomes in a shorter time frame or a more sustained time frame, or by engaging across the sectors better, does require us to do something different. We can't do what we've always done before. So that's the rationale behind why a Commissioning Academy exists. What is it? It's a programme that's been designed by commissioners, because I should have said at the beginning, the Cabinet Office is not renowned for being a commissioning organisation. I don't stand here, neither does my team, saying, hey, we know what commissioning is, and we're going to tell you. We put together this programme by actually working with commissioners from all sectors to say, you know, what is it that's really going to be the game changer for you? What sort of programme is really going to help you take the change forward? We've got a 3-year programme in mind. It is all about bringing all parts of the public sector together. So each cohort will have a smattering of central government, a smattering of justice, a smattering of health, a smattering of social care, children's services, adult social care, so on. So it'll be a mix of local, central government, health, and all parts of the public sector. So we aren't looking at cohorts that will be just in their silos. It's a Hearts and Minds programme. It's not a training course. If you think that you're going to come on the Commissioning Academy programme and be sat in a classroom, it's not like that. We don't have a formal, detailed syllabus that is just reeled out. It's a Hearts and Minds. It's about shared learning. In fact, our participants say that they learn more from other people on their cohort, or as much, at least, as the people who might be standing at the front speaking to them. It's a programme of 8 days spread over 6 months. So it's about a day every 3 or 4 weeks. We go around the country in all different places. It's not a set location. And it's not self-nominated. So even if you think that it's a good, great programme and you'd like to go on it, your chief exec, your DG, your permsec, your chief will actually need to formally sponsor you and 2 or 3 of your colleagues to come as a group to make up this cohort, because the idea here is it's not about random individuals, not that you are random individuals, of course you're not. It is actually about enabling an organisation to make a change. And if you as an individual go on a programme, a training course or whatever, it can be lonely going back with these great ideas as a lone voice to try and make change. But with 2 or 3 of you working together as a group from your organisation with the backing of your chief exec, DG or whatever, you can actually make some changes. The other aspect is that the programme, whilst it's great fun coming together for 8 days, and we do lots of different things, we go on site visits, we have kind of learn and share seminar days, we have peer challenge days where we all argue the toss amongst ourselves. But the point of it is that you will come together as a group and then take back to your organisation a 100-day plan that is about how you will make or start making that journey of change within whatever your commissioning organisation is about. It might be that you're partway along the journey already, so your 100-day plan may sort of take you on from where you are at the moment. So it's not a training course, it's about Hearts and Minds. The time commitment is not only those 8 days, but thinking time away from the office, away from day-to-day work, to actually think through how can we, my small group that I'm in, make these step changes in the way we're commissioning for outcomes across our public services. We've had 2 pilot cohorts. The first pilot programme has finished. It finished in November. The second pilot cohort started in November and will actually conclude next month. So we've got a pilot programme ongoing at the minute. This is a picture that when I showed Francis Maud, he didn't like it. So I show it to him every time I see him now, because I think it's a good picture. It kind of shows what the journey is about on the Commissioning Academy journey. In the middle is this random set of senior level commissioners that come together into a cohort. We go through 8 days, whether they be masterclasses, roundtables, workshops, we do site visits, we have a peer challenge day. We then come out of that 8-day programme and start building an alumni. So everybody who goes through the programme will tip out and become an alumni. Basically, as an alumni, you will feed back into future cohorts. So you will either host a site visit, maybe to a prison, maybe to a local authority, to see commissioning in action, and actually help future cohorts understand the challenges you're facing and that you want to learn from and develop. So this whole cycle is about building a campaign or a movement of senior level commissioners who know about commissioning. They've got contacts, they've got a network of like-minded people who can make this sort of step change in the way we deliver public services. The sort of themes that we cover on the programme, I'm not going to go through the detail of this, but we kind of start from a position that says, what do we really mean by an outcome? What sort of outcomes are we looking at? Do we have a shared understanding of the sort of terminology that exists around commissioning? It then looks to say, okay, we're now in the world of outcomes, outcome-based commissioning. How can we think about outcomes, innovation, social value? We know that once we're commissioning, the word decommissioning starts appearing. So we start to explore some of the themes around outcome-based commissioning. We then look at providers and the provider perspective, marketplaces. These might be voluntary, these might be community-based markets, effectively. People in the communities doing public services. The markets and funding model theme is that we don't have the sort of investments in the public sector that we used to have. So shifting to different types of investment models, whether that's social impact bonds, whether that's looking at payment by results, probably a big case in point at the moment around offending certainly, or reducing offending. So looking at different types of funding models. And then another theme, which is kind of a bit of a bucket, but it depends on what the cohort is most focused on, starting to look at themes that cut across sectors, whether that be around localism or legislation like the Social Value Act that commenced in January. Whatever it might be, we will pick up topics and pull together a programme that kind of fits the cohort's need. So that's the main themes of the programme.